respect to the Buddha. A very good morning to all of you. Morning. Thank you, Nalanda Buddhist Society, Sister Chandima, and many others, and many others who invited me for coming over and leading 2 sessions for on the topic of happiness, but looking at happiness from a little bit different perspective. It is not a different perspective, it is the perspective we are supposed to look at. And I looked at what you've been doing. I think you've been learning for almost 2 days now. You must be super happy now, right? You must have been happy and you should be happy. I think you've been learning about, what have you been learning about since first day? What are the topics you've been covering? You've been learning actually. Peace, yeah, it's a very broad topic. That's why sometimes we can be happy, it's too broad. So, what are the topics that you've been learning? The seclusion is one topic, I guess. Physical and mental seclusion is one topic. That means time to time we need to take time off for me time, my time, in a very wholesome way. It's not that you go to the room and lock the door and then do things all the time. Something more different than that. And what are the other topics? And today I can say purity. So purification is one of the ways to be peaceful. The more we are pure, then the better we can be, more we can be peaceful. And another topic which I think, which was covered maybe early today, maybe yesterday, was simplicity. Simple life. In Buddhism we understand simple life does not always mean a minimalistic life. So you have to always put your stuff away, and then you can't use things which other people which you want to use. It's more about how to look at it and how you do it in your own way. You are creating your own minimalist understanding of that. You have to leave from the comforts, but simplicity in your own way, without having a lot of things to avoid seclusion, purity, and I think that's pretty much all. And I think tomorrow there will be probably another couple of topics coming up, even today afternoon. And I'm going to talk about this topic, peace, especially peace comes from understanding the self, is what you've been learning from a little bit of Buddhist teachings, a little bit of exact, precise Buddhist teachings. That's the plan. So 1 hour from now, that means almost 8:40 until 9:30, I'm giving a talk. And then the half an hour that is coming up after 9:30, 10, there will be a Q&A. So save your questions for that time. So we'll see how things work. Peace comes from understanding the self well. You know that there are a lot of misconceptions with regard to Buddhism. Why today? Why is it? Is it because there are people who haven't read Buddhist sources enough? Or there are people who interpret Buddhist thoughts in their own ways only? And you can see online, there are a lot of fake Buddha quotes, especially like things about very, very simple stuff. Now one quote which I found out later on was, if you really want to be happy, you can't own anything. That was the quote. It comes from a very famous book. So that means if you want to be really happy, you cannot own anything. And then you are happy. Then why are you going to study? Why are you going to work? Why you want to have hopes? Why you want to be ambitious? Why you came here? Right? For what? Actually, in one of the suttas, Buddha says, there is a happiness when you own things in the proper ethical way. We call it Atti Sukha. Atti Sukha is a happiness. But the ways and means how you do it can be unethical. But that code, that particular code, is a misleading code. So it's one of the misconceptions. And everything comes from the bad karma, past karma. It's a misunderstanding. Buddha clearly said, not everything comes from the past. Then what are we doing here? Then let's leave out everything for the past. Let's wait. Let everything happen. We don't do anything. Then the rich people will be rich people. Studious people will be genius, bright people. Happy people will be happy people. Unhappy people will be unhappy forever. What can we do? But the Buddha says, I think we are covering, kind of these topics in our discussion. The Buddha said, there is an adequate, considerable amount of things coming from the past lives. But we can change our karma. We can change. We can neutralize our bad karma. It's not a free pass for you to think now, I can do bad karma from today and I can clear it. I'm not proposing that idea. What I'm saying is that not everything that we experience now in our life comes from past life. But if somebody says everything is karma, we cannot change. That's a misunderstanding. So looking at this topic, peace comes from understanding the self, who am I. This is a true statement. But we have to look at it from the other, it's a paradox. You know paradoxes? Two seemingly truthful statements are there. So this is one. The other part of the truth is, just because you are here, just because you feel like the true peace arises from yourself and you are not doing anything, you are not ambitious, you have no passion, you don't do anything, and you think that just going to a certain place, just being in your house, just being wherever you are, you feel peace arises from within. Would that be okay to you? No. Because Buddha talks about external happiness also. That's why. So this is one truth. Actually, this is what we have to do to stay durable in our external happiness. Let me give you a very simple example. You are going to be someone who is really working very well in your life. I hope some of you are working now, maybe most of you. And you are studying very well, and you have abundant hopes in your own way. How to stay durable in those hopes? By understanding the true peace with regard to those external happiness arises from within. Then you are keeping your external types of happiness durable. So, this is a paradox. The true peace arises from within. At the same time, you are going to be passionate, ambitious in your family life, your work life, your social circles, and whatever the other future holds. That's how we have to understand. I think I have to make it a little bit simple today. Now, the Buddha talks about 4 visions of lay people in a sutta called Patta Kamma Sutta. I hope somebody can maybe I can look it up over here. Patta Kamma Sutta. Let's go to the Patta Kamma. Patta Sutta. Alright, this sutta. Anguttara Nikaya 4.61. I'm not going to go inside. Go back to my slides. Now, in this sutta, the Buddha says, lay people, all of you, you have 4 wishes to achieve in your life. Number 1, may wealth arise to me in righteous ways. Money, wealth. Wealth is a very large and broad interpretation. It's not just money. When you say wealth, it could be, what could wealth include? When you have too much money, you don't call you have money, you say you have wealth. And you go for wealth management. In the bank, you don't go to the counters, you go to the wealth management. Lots of money. And they advise you have lots of money, you have to probably, allocate this money for this. They advise you. So wealth. May wealth, which includes money, come to me righteously in adequate ways. Is it a very challenging thing? Or an easy thing? Does money come to us very easily? Not small amount of money, big chunk of money that you want to achieve your goals. They don't come easily. You have to be skilled enough in your own, whatever it is. But not many people are blessed enough to have that money in righteous ways. Because they don't have that talent. They have the talent to earn money. But they don't have the talent to earn money in righteous ways, ethical ways. What is the righteous way in Buddhism? Samma Ajina, right living, one of the noble eightfold path factors. The Buddha said, never cheat on anybody in the making of your money. Never market anything wrong. Never be a part of unnecessary businesses, human trafficking, and all that. Buddha is very particular, clear about this making money. Right? So the first wish every lay person should have is, may wealth come to me righteously. Then when you are receiving wealth righteously, the second wish is going to be expected. Right? May good reputation come to me and to my teachers, my family. Good reputation. Is popularity, reputation important to all of us? Is it bad to expect that? If it is bad, why did the Buddha say to expect it? Is it bad to expect reputation, good reputation? Are you happy when other people talk good about you? You are a good person, you are a good one. Very inspiring, very blessed. You feel like your life is getting growing. What if that you are having people that always trying to whine, complain? No money, life is a mess. From morning to evening, yes, we have to be compassionate, but every time you are being informed by these people, like nothing. There was one monk at the Buddha's time. He had a story about, very interesting story. He had a story about something that he never heard, the word no, N-O. So the Buddha explained the story about that one. In one life, he never heard the word no, and he didn't have to say no. Always yes. Always yes. So one day, he was playing some sports with his friends. He sent a message to his mother, "Mother, can you send me some sweets? Some sweets made from wheat flour." Then mother said, "Now I sent you 2 times. Now I ran out of the wheat flour, so I can't send you." Then mother sent a note, "No more sweets. Then he asked the person who brought the message, send me the no sweets. Send me the, because he has never heard the word no. In his life he got everything. Such a blessed person. Right? So in the same way, the Buddha said, expecting a proper ethical reputation is okay because we are inspired. The third wish is that may I live longer. Nobody would like to die early. May I live longer. And the fourth one is, may I be reborn in a better place. These are the four wishes the Buddha talks about in the Patthakama Sutta. Then he talks about wealth management. Very interesting. For those who think Buddha really undervalued about money and wealth, he said you have to set aside wealth onto four areas. Four areas. The first area is you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself and your parents, your family. Second, you have to set aside another level of money, wealth, for emergencies. What are the emergencies? With the Buddha thought. Fire problems, water problems, thieves, robbers. There are problems like that. Now you might think the best way to do this is go for insurance, good insurance. So, theft insurance, house insurance, fire insurance, and this is the second part. The third level the Buddha asks us to set aside your wealth money is, what could be that? It's about five things, five areas. One is leave some money for treating guests, taking care of your relatives, giving good karmas to your departed ones, sharing good karmas with the Deva, and paying tax, Rajabha. The Buddha is very friendly with paying tax to the right people. Right taxing, not the wrong taxing. You can't pay tax. You can't evade tax. But depending on where you are living, you don't sometimes feel good about this paying tax. Maybe they are taking unfair tax. The last section is about taking care of, maybe offering dana to the Sangha members or whoever religious people. In this discussion, he talks about two verbs about happiness. I am going to start our true discussion from those two words, and then we will talk about happiness. I'm going to write down here. The first word, Pali word for happiness is Sukha. Sukha. Have you ever heard some people are saying, Sukhi ho? What does it mean? May you be well. And some people are saying, Sukhi ho? Sukhi ho means, assuming there are a lot of people. Sukhi ho. Ho means plural. Sukhi ho means singular. If you are wishing one person, Sukhi ho. If you are wishing many people, Sukhi ho. Now, the Buddha says we need to understand two verbs about happiness. Sukhi, feeling. Sukhi and feeling. Sukhi means make happy. Make happy. That means the verb of this one, Sukhi. We have to make us happy. In simple words, what is it? Self-care. We will talk about it. Self-care. We have to make us happy. That's why you came here. You want to make yourself happy. And then being means sometimes we are trying to make us happy, but we don't feel happy. Very interesting words are feel happy. Have you ever seen that way? We They are trying to make us happy, but we don't feel happy. We don't enjoy that. Something wrong somewhere. Right? Meaning, the Buddha said, these two angles are about happiness. Sukheti, meaning. Now let's go check it out, self-care part in the Patthana Sutta. Buddha says we have to take care of us. Self-care. How to take care of us? What are the ways you take care of yourself? What are the ways you take charge of your well-being? You make yourself happy. May I know? What do you do to make yourself happy? It's a list, a long list. But normally, if you can make them a little bit concise, what are the things that you do normally in your life to make yourself happy?
Spending time with friends.
Spending time with friends. Digital or real?
Real.
Oh. And what else?
Eat good food.
Eat good food. Eat good food. What do you buy good? Fast food or healthy?
Depends.
You never interpret that. Now we already understand healthy food because we are very health conscious in today's world. Time to time you might get spoiled by the fast food, but healthy food, organic. But they are expensive. Healthy food are expensive. Somebody told one Catholic priest, never preach people that eat healthy food because you can't afford. It is whatever the talks in the church. And then what are the other things? You said friends, eating food, what else?
Sleep.
Traveling. Okay, traveling. What kind of travel? Solo as a group. Coming here was happiness as a traveling. Traveling, yeah. Traveling is the best virtue that not many sentient beings have. Because in that experience we get to know many people who can tolerate many. Those who don't travel cannot tolerate. When they hear other people's languages, other people's perspective, they cannot tolerate. So it's easy for us to adapt to anybody where we go. One way to practice kanti, tolerance, to travel. But you need money. Good money, ethical money. That's it. And then somebody else said something else.
Rest and exercise.
Okay. Rest, and exercise. That's a very good one. So how do we interpret that? That means having a good sleep, enough sleep, and then physical and mental fitness. Right? Sometimes there are people who are physically they are very healthy, but mentally it's a mess. Right? Lot of problems. What are the problems they will go through? Regrets. Lots of should haves, could haves, what if. Since morning till evening, what if I could have done this way, that way, very worried about everything. Poor decision making, no critical thinking. Right? So it's very important to make proper decisions. Right? Yeah, it's a very big topic. Rest, having rest, and then well-being, physical and mental well-being. And what else? Learning is done. Yeah, that's what they are doing. Yeah, just because of learning the Dharma, things don't happen. Transformation doesn't happen. You see many of your elderly people, they learn a lot of Dharma, but you don't feel like they are not. I mean, some of them are okay, but they are not. They are not people who they are supposed to be. Something wrong somewhere. Why? It's head down. All go to the head. I'm not good at drawing pictures, but it doesn't go to the heart. Right? The practice problem. Application doesn't. So learning and then being able to practice. Like that they bring lots of seeds into their houses. They take notes, like you sometimes, and then they record, audio record, video record. But when they go home, they forget about it. they don't plant it. We have to plant the Dhamma seed, which by the practice. Let's take one other example. Any other example? Friends, food, physical, mental, fitness, listen to Dhamma, traveling. Okay, what else? How do you find happiness? Is there a very interesting being here who is finding happiness in different ways? Pardon?
Stay with the cat.
Okay. Okay, some of the compassionate activities, taking the pets. Okay. So, the Buddha said then, if we really want happiness, we have to look at the both sides. We make us happy with self-care, and we have to do other care at the same time. And then we have to feel happy. We have to see that from these two angles. Now we'll go and take a look at the slides. That's a good start. Okay. The two key terms that are crucial for understanding inner happiness, the idea that peace begins from within, lie in two contexts. There are two contexts in Pali, Buddhist teachings. Atta, Anatta. Atta and Anatta. You may have heard these two Pali words, Atta, Anatta. Atta means self. Anatta means, now you are judging with the poor translation. One second. Anatta means?
Self. Not self.
How to say no self? We have a self. Otherwise, who is having the pain here, leg pain? If we don't have a self, who is going through the pain? Who is going through unhappiness? There is a self. A proper translation of anatta is we cannot take that self as a self, not self. There is a self, but at a higher, deeper level, we cannot take it as a self. Cannot take it, not self, not no self. Now I will explain to you again. Most of you might not be conscious about this. Atta. Now, let's go check it out. What the Buddha talk about self. Let's go to Dhammapada. Atta Vakka. There's a particular chapter about self. Let's see what the Buddha talks about. If you knew yourself as beloved, you would look after it too well, so well. In one of the night's three watches, as a little bit a wise person would do. One thing is, these translations are even more difficult than the Dhamma. Make it simple. Because we should not complicate Dhamma more than how it is complicated. It has to be shallow. Don't look at the people, who are translating these ones. Okay, let's go by this. This idea. Go to this one there. Now this is better. One should first establish oneself in what is good proper. Then only you should instruct others. That is self. Before you give an advice to someone, you have to have that life in. So Buddha talks about self in many ways. Ask it. Let one not neglect one's own welfare for the sake of another. Very interesting. That means you should never neglect your own welfare just because you have to take care of someone. Do many people go through issues with this statement? There are people who are always, they do things for others, but they do not take care of themselves. They don't take a shower, they don't sleep. They think that is the way how they are supposed to. And finally they are complaining. I had a lot of energy vampires. energy vampires. My whole energy was consumed by somebody. Why would you let that person consume your energy? The Buddha said, you should take care of yourself and then take care of other people. It's like the seat belt on a flight. They said you have to have your seat belt first before your system. Alright, so Buddha talks about self a lot. We call it attavada, self. See? It's real. Buddha says that you have to take care of yourself. Then anatta, we cannot take a self ultimately. Now this is a wrong understanding. I mean, when you don't understand anatta concept, this is the highest teaching in Buddhism, anatta. If we have anatta, we can minimize lot of problems in our life. Say for instance, you were blamed by someone yesterday, criticized. Around, not here maybe, maybe a couple days before, nobody blamed you yesterday. Maybe a few days ago, maybe Thursday before you came. There was an argument happened between you and somebody. And let's say 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. on Thursday. Now you are thinking about reflecting this thing, even though maybe you are here, not supposed to. Somebody blamed me, he or she should have blamed me, I was to blame. That was really unfair. And you are so worried about it. And you are creating a lot of memories about it, sanya. You are unhappy. You are physically here, but your thoughts may be somewhere else. But according to anatta concept, you practice anatta, how can you think about it? On Thursday, 3 p.m., I had my previous self, but now I have a new self. And my previous self was blamed by XYZ people. But I am a new person. Why should I worry about that blame? I don't have to worry about it. And that bad experience will be gone away in a moment. Anatta means you are not treating self as self at different levels of your sensory experience. We need that. When people don't do this, cannot do this, they are the ones who are always worrying about their past. I cannot let go, I cannot forget about this thing. Why? They cannot practice this anatta concept. If you bring anatta concept, if you treat them, yes, I was there, but it was not myself, it was my previous self. So atta, anatta. So this is the idea that I said already. The Buddha said, both are there, but we have to understand it separately at different times. This is what we just now learned. Self-care is important, atta and anatta. Anatta, however, upon deep reflection, we find that the so-called self is merely an amalgamation of 5 aggregates, panchakkhanda. We all have panchakkhanda. With nothing we can truly claim as a permanent self. Okay, let's take panchakkhanda. What is panchakkhanda? Have you ever heard this parita before? All of you? I don't think so. It's a new parita. Now, in Buddhism, for the Buddha, he recognizes that although we have different manifestations, males, females, animals, deva, or all these differentiations, if he or she is a sentient being, he or she only has 5 things, nothing else. We use a very concise term for these 5, mind and matter. Mind part and matter part. Matter is the physicality part. You can see here, panchakkhanda, 5 aggregates. So we have only 5. We have form, we have feeling, we have memory, we have karma, we have consciousness. So there are no people by names, there are no others, but there are only Panchaka. But don't categorize anybody from today, you are not and you are Panchaka. It's a different spiritual understanding. Panchaka. The first one is, okay, Pancha means 5, Kanda means aggregates. Okay. Aggregate means some form of things, entities. Form. Form means, do we have a form? What is our form? Body. Are our bodies same equal to each other? Or do we have different faces, shape, everything? We have very different physicalities. Our face, our height, our weight, and there are different manifestations. All these are included as rupa, form. That's number one. So we all have a. Actually, before we get to know anybody, we see the rupa of everyone. That's our first impression. Rupa. Can we see all the beings with a body, with a rupa? Can you see the minor, tiny creatures? Those tiny creatures that you may need to have a microscope to see them. Can you see them? You can't see them. Right? You can't see them. You need to have certain tools to see them. Can you see Deva? You can see all Deva, right? Not the true Deva, because you need to elevate your mind to certain levels. Can you see ghosts? Are there ghosts? There are, but we can't see them. We don't need to worry about them. Unless we are good people, they can't do anything to us. So some forms are visible, some forms are subtle. It depends. If you take a small tiny ant, right? In order for one small ant to go from here, this tile, to that fourth tile, it may be a highway journey, you know. It's a small ant, it has to go slowly. But for you, you go fast. Just take it from different animals, the way how they do it. So this form, the physical part, is something we have to understand. In that physical part, we look at it two ways. We are looking at physical part in two. One is sentient beings, other one is inanimate objects. The mic, this is an inanimate object. What do you think about the mic or other things like this, everything here? This mic, those inanimate objects, are they sentient beings? Then they don't have feeling, memory, karma, consciousness. What they have is four things. You can see them here. Earth element, water element, fire element, air. Patavi, Apo, Ketu, Vaya. How do we understand this more? Let's take this mind. What is the earth element of this mind? Solid part. Very solid. The manifesting quality of this mind is solid, very solid. Where's the water element here? Is there water here? Huh? Is there water? But if you melt it, if you burn it, you see when the mic is melted, you see the water seeping down. There is water, but you can't see. Because what is more manifesting is solid part, earth element. Then fire element. Is there fire here? Temperature? Yes, if I keep talking many hours with you, really, what do you call it? It's getting heat, it's getting hot. The mic will be heated. So there is temperature, but it is not manifesting until you use it for many hours. So there is fire element too. Is there air element? Vayu? Is there air here? Even by process, it has air. Encoding, decoding words and then going to the whatever the mic, speakers, there's motion going through this mic. There is. Right? So things are actually circulating around this object. That means all the four elements are here, but some elements are manifesting. Some are more dominant, some are less dominant. That means everything, every object, inanimate object has four elements. Right? Now we are just trying to understand what does a human include, what does an inanimate object include. What about our body? Does our body, if you take it without our other parts, feeling, memory, karma, consciousness, do we also have these four? Do we have the earth element? Yes. Patavi, we have Patavi. And then do we have water? Yes, definitely. Do we have fire temperature? Do we have temperature? And then do we have air element? Yes, we are breathing. Okay, that's the first thing that we need to understand in terms of this self. That means our body and mind process. Second is feeling. Feeling. How many feelings are there in Buddhism? Happy feeling, unhappy feeling, and neutral feeling. How do you normally say neutral feeling in your culture? You have a word for that? Okay now. I understand that you are not happy. Neither happy nor unhappy. Okay, nice. Neutral feeling. Happy feeling, unhappy feeling. Happy, unhappy, and then neutral feeling. Right? So time to time we enjoy, experience these feelings. Right? Anyways, there are feelings, sensations. Sanya, third one, sanya. Memory. They translate this to be perception, but the real one is, easy one is memory. Are we creating memory? Yes. It's like a carpenter. When a carpenter wants to do a certain carving, he makes a certain carving. This area I have to carve for the future. And when he's going to do the future things, going back to the previous one where I carved already. In our life, we make a lot of memories. The beautiful memories are called cherished memories. We make very cherished memories. The beautiful ones. And what about the other part of the memories? Very bad memories, a very bad time spent with somebody in the life. But we don't have to create anger towards them. You can't change it. It's already finished, already gone. Memories. Sankhara is the fourth aggregate that we have when you say self. Sankhara means good karma, bad karma. Are we creating karma? What is karma in Buddhism? Very interesting topic. Huh? Action.
Action with intention.
I don't hear the last part.
Action with intention.
Action with intention. Okay, that means I go and I slap someone. Say, don't worry, and I slap you with good intention.
It's like I don't like you and then I step because I don't like. That's the intention.
No, I mean in the case of somebody slap. Say it was a mistake and I didn't have intention to slap you. So that means this Buddhist way of looking at, no, I mean what you said is right, correct. Volition, we call it volition. That means action with intention is the karma. But Hindu karma is action. That's the difference between Hinduism and Buddhism. Every action counts a karma. But the Buddha said not every action counts a karma. We may be walking here, we don't know whether there are tiny creatures, we may be stepping over there. But they should be okay. But you know there are tiny creatures that you are going over there. That might be a problem. What if that you are driving on a highway and then suddenly there is an animal enters into your path, right? Now you're thinking, I'm a Buddhist, I cannot kill anybody. Right? Now you're thinking, you are a Buddhist, you are practicing Buddhism. You are practicing Buddhist. I cannot now go over there So then I better stop my car. Would that be the best way to, act in that moment? A lot of cars are coming behind you. What should we do? Now the animal is entering. You don't have time to do anything. You can't even stop probably. If you stop, other cars are going to crash into a big accident. So what could you do at that point? Tell me. He said. Think about those difficult moments, challenging, not easy moments to practice Dharma. Think about challenging moments to practice Dharma. You are all good here. The true Dharma has to come when you go out from here. Exit the retreat, the real life. So, then we will have to go. Because it's not that our best interest to go over there. It's because in the driving manual it is said, never ever jeopardize other drivers because of an animal. Right? We have to follow it. It's a legal thing. Right? What about you become a soldier? Think about it. Very good example. You become a police officer. Then you get a call. There's a domestic violence happening in one house. One man is going to kill a lady in the house. And you are going to the house with your buddies. Then you are asking him, put down whatever things that he or she has, but he's not cooperating. Then you will have to use your extra power, extra force at that point. You know what's going to happen? If not, that particular violent person will kill many people in the household. And you have lots of soldiers, these law enforcement people across the country, protecting the borders, protecting the country from the human traffickings, terrorists, bad people, drug dealers, criminals. They may have to use. Why? For your own well-being. So does that mean if you are a Buddhist, you cannot go to those jobs? No. Did the Buddha ever tell kings, stop giving punishment to the criminals? So karma has to be understood in the proper way. Now I know there was one lady who was telling me in Canada that I'm really worried about my work in a lab. I have to cut these animals. Rats, cockroaches, and these animals. I'm really worried. I asked why you are worried now. Now I learn in Dharma, I must cut cockroaches and these animals. And now she's asking how to overcome this issue. I asked, why did you have to go to this job? She said she liked it. Then I asked, why did you like it? It's because although we are making these animals as guinea pigs, but we can save millions, billions of human lives with one medication. So somebody who is expecting to go to a laboratory experiences, become a doctor. So can a Buddhist become a doctor? Yes, why not? You can become all these professionals, but you know what you are doing. But if you think you can't take it, then you have a different experience. Then you think about a different way to proceed your work life. So karma is something that the Buddha asks us to do with intention, or try to save beings as much as you can. But there are moments where we may not be able, not in the best interest of us, but because the situation is not going well. Consciousness means vijnana. Our vijnana is our mind. Now, having 5 advocates is not a problem. We all have 5 advocates. But when there is something called lobha, greed, or clinging upadana attached to this 5 advocate, then we are going to create bad experiences, bad karma. As you can see here, form. When the form is with clinging then we are into very bad experiences, troubling experience. When the feeling is with upadana clinging, then you are creating. Clinging means what? What is clinging? You are becoming very greedy about things. Let's say that we all have a body image awareness. You are too much worried about yourself. Too worried about yourself. Right? We all are unique in our own ways. In order to understand this uniqueness, we have to believe we are perfectly imperfect. That is where the understanding of uniqueness of everybody kicks in. So, but we should not overly be greedy or bring clinging to our body or into the bodies of other people. Feeling is the same thing. Memory, karma, I think we can discuss these things maybe in the Q&A, depending on the time. So never ever bring clinging to your five aggregates. Aggregates are fine. Now that we understand that clinging, upadana, to the five aggregates leads to the ruin of that peace that you've been talking here, inner peace. The idea that peace begins from within. It's a setback. Let's try to avoid such clinging, but how can we achieve this? Then we go to senses. How many senses do we have? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking. But what are the problems to these six setbacks? These six: sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. So normally, because you are having eyes, a lot of rupa, sights coming over your eyes. Because you have two ears, sounds are coming to your ears. Because you have a nose, you feel the smell. Because you have a tongue, you feel the taste. Because you have a body, you feel comfortable. Because you have a mind, thoughts are coming out. How to take care of our eyes? Are our eyes normally out of control in our daily life? Are our ears out of control in our daily life? One day one man came to the Buddha and said, Bhante, I've been following a teacher who is particularly teaching us how to take care of the senses, these ones, from these. Then the Buddha asked, how does your teacher teach you how to take care of your eyes? He told us, friends, whenever the very pleasant or unpleasant sights come to your eyes, close your eyes. So you are happy. Your internal inner peace arises. He said to the Buddha. Then the Buddha said, the blind people will be happier than all of you guys. But they can't see it. Blind people can't see it. And then he explained, he kept on explaining, went on explaining. He said, whenever we see very pleasant, unpleasant sounds, maybe very unpleasant sound, very pleasant sound, because we are getting certain grief to that, our teacher asks us to cover the ears, so you are happy. Then the Buddha said, the deaf people will be happier than all of you guys. Deaf ones, they can't hear. But they are not happier than you all the time. In the same way, the Buddha said, it is not by a sensory deprivation you are finding happiness with your senses. You have to keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. You are fully open, but with an understanding, you are going to be happy. That understanding is what we are discussing. That peace begins from within. That understanding. That is when you are going to be happy. Not that you are going to walk away. You are going to avoid. But we understand there are times you check in with other people. Whether people you don't like attend the party. Whether you can avoid certain things. It's good in a way, but the real sensory experience could be how to protect yourself. Finally, sensual pleasures are okay unless, as long as you don't create greed. Greed is the problem. in Buddhism, this is what the Buddha says. You can have your sensual pleasures, but don't bring greed onto your sensual pleasures. When you don't bring greed and then subsequent to greed is clinging, then you can see the true happiness, the true peace is arising in you. Can you tell me a good example of someone who has been enjoying sensual pleasures with greed and having a lot of issues? How do we know the what you call the perfect thin line, fine line between sensual pleasures and the greed? How do we know by us?
Having the right amount of food.
That's a good example. Food experience. Now everybody wants to be happy with the food. So how to be happy with the food without falling onto the greed? You should know your threshold of eating, your amount. Everybody's different. Right? How much rice you're going to eat? How much this and that you're going to eat? How many times you're going to eat? Am I going to skip my meals and going to eat a lot of snacks in between? Do I have the compulsive eating issue? So that means we can see this sensual pleasures and greed issue very precisely with the food experience. What are the other examples? Let's go back to your happiness examples. Somebody here said food is one, and the other one was friends are too much socializing. We need to socialize. Socialize. But what if there's someone who's always socializing from morning to evening? No me time, my time.
Exhausted.
Yeah, you will be exhausted. And finally, you are not going to see yourself anywhere in that experience. That means too less socializing and too much socializing. They all are issues in that experience. But we need some level of socialization. You don't need to be in a room for the whole day. You'll be depressed. Right? And then other examples, traveling. Someone said travel. What if you are traveling the whole month? Morning to evening, you go to one country. Too much, huh? You are tired, you have lots of fatigue, and you don't have time to digest where I'm going, what I'm doing. Right? Sometimes they get sick. And what are the examples? Friends, eating, and what else? What about too much resting? Always resting. Sleep all the time. All the time sleeping.
More tired.
Then you are losing your ambition, your purpose in your life. You need the purpose. That's why you are here. What if you are exercising the whole day? You are a gym maniac person. Gym maniac. Fitness maniac. That's going to be a problem. Go and do it, come back. Right? So, another examples are Dhamma, learning Dhamma. Always talking Dhamma. If you go to eat, also talk Dhamma. Shower, also talk Dhamma. Or you go to trip, also talk Dhamma. That's really disrespect to my understanding. Why? The Buddha said, don't listen to Dhamma talk at untimely hours. Because it is a disrespect. Don't discuss Dhamma at the wrong time. Where did Buddha say this thing? Mangala Sutta. Kalena Dhamma Savana. Kalena Dhamma Savana. Why? Somebody is cooking a spaghetti and listen to Dhamma. Either you should stop making the spaghetti, stop listening to Dhamma, make the spaghetti first. You should have respect. Because when you have the respect only, Dhamma will go from the head to the heart. That experience has to go to the heart. Sometimes we are only bombarding a lot of Dhamma things into the head, nothing goes in. Then we cannot walk also. Looking at whether I am walking in the Dhamma or not. You cannot walk, you cannot talk. It doesn't matter how much Dhamma you know, what matters. How much quality of the Dhamma you have been able to incorporate into your life. And other example, that's pretty much everything. So, That means we should know the amount, level of your happiness. Don't try to ruin your happiness by too much engaging in that happiness. Right? Don't be infatuated. Then you can easily find that happiness that is durable, that is staying in the long run. So before we go to the Q&A, what I can say is, going back, just because peace arises from within, it does not mean that you should not look for external happiness, because Buddha talks about 4 types of external happiness. Atti Sukha, happiness of owning in the ethical rules. Number 2, Bhoga Sukha, happiness of enjoying what you own. There are people who got a lot of things but doesn't feel enjoying those happiness. They have lots of food in the fridge but never feel I want to eat it until they become expired. What do you go? Now I want to eat it. Why do you eat it? Expired. No, I bought it from a super shop, super food shop. Couple of cars always going to use the worn out, dilapidated car. Like, don't feel using that good one. Couple of houses think that I'm going to use that dilapidated one. Why? It's a bad karma that person did in a past life. Done a lot of dana, giving, but a lot of expectations. The Buddha said, when you give dana to someone, offer, never have expectation. Lower your expectation. Just be happy for the person who's enjoying that happiness. So many people cannot enjoy what they have. This is called bogus for them. The Buddha said, when you own things, you should be able to enjoy what you own. It might be money, wealth, education, work, everything. You should be able to enjoy. I think I saw in the first day of the samadhi, there was something that was written. There was an elephant that is not anymore raw, but still think that he is raw. I think there are people like that. They already set free to go to their life, but still think that we are enchained, enslaved by someone else. We don't know how to find happiness like that. Third one is Ananda Sukha, happiness of not having debt, DEBT. What does it mean? Some people interpret this as you can't have a credit card, you can't buy a loan, you can't go for a mortgage. How to live without a credit card nowadays? How to live without a loan sometimes? How to live without a mortgage if you don't have lots of money to buy the house? We have to understand the conditions. What the Buddha said here is that not owning a credit card, nowadays you can't buy an air ticket. And most of the shops are cashless nowadays, due to their own reasons. You will have to have a credit card. But the Buddha said if you have a credit card, the idea is you should know this is a loan, this is a credit. You should know how to spend wise. Don't spend over your income and pay back before the time. But they may be happy you pay the minimum amount. Don't worry, you don't have to pay the full amount. But you never know that how much interest is being incurred over time. It doesn't mean that you cannot have a credit card, you cannot have loans. You are still conditioned at point of time, but you know how to use them once. Finally, Anavati Sukha. At the end of the day, you feel happy. I earn money, wealth, everything through righteous ways, ethical ways, not killing other people, not stealing other people's stuff, not sexually misbehaving, not lying to other people. This way. So there are 4 happiness. Happiness of ownership, happiness of enjoying what you own, happiness of the understanding, the wise use of things, and then happiness of not having done what you call immoral things. So that's how you are creating your external happiness. And then in order to stay durable, stable in those happiness, you have to always think, I'm going to use those 4 types of happiness by an understanding. I have to think that my happiness not always going around with those physical stuff, the way how I look at these 4 types of happiness. what interpretation I bring to those happiness, four types of happiness, so that you are happy all the time. Otherwise, not earning money, not having those wealth, you will not be able to find happiness in your daily life. You have a long way to go. Find your passion in the proper way. But always think, if I want to maximize my happiness, optimize my happiness, bring those external happiness types onto your inner level. Without being infatuated, without being greedy about them, you enjoy them. Not too less, not too much, but with a perfect balance. I normally call it effortless effort balance. Without doing lots of effort, but there is effort, but not too much, not too less. Alright, now we can go to the Q&A. So we have almost 20 minutes for it.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So what are the questions you may have about this topic? You may be able to ask. There's a mic.
Bhante,
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
good morning, Bhante. I would like to clarify about one of the five grades, which is the karma. So karma is a combination of action and intention. So let's say the action is seemingly bad, like I'm in the lab and I'm killing an animal, but the intention is to save other people. So does this bring me to a karmic effect, or like another example would be if a guy hijacks a plane, then I kill that guy so that I can save the other passengers in the plane. So is this action good or bad, or am I breaking the first killing precept? This is my question.
Can you repeat the example again?
If a guy hijacks a plane, then I kill that guy. Let's say I kill that guy so that I can save other passengers in the plane.
Okay, I understand you are a fellow passenger as well in that flight. And you'll be dead too in a moment of time because. Okay. Well, very interesting example. Actually, in that case, we have to do the wisest thing. Let's say somebody is going to hijack a flight, and then we are trying not to let him hijack the flight. That is the best thing to do. Not well, I mean, maybe things have passed at that point. There's no point of doing anything at that point. We all are going to die now because he has taken the control of the flight. But if you take another example, let's say someone is going to do a bad thing, like the example in the police, law enforcement example. Not that you kill, you try to de-escalate the situation until someone proper is going to show up. You have to think always the better option to do that. Not that you take the control and you kill people. Not go to that thinking in the first place. Let's say you are not in a flight, you are here somewhere, and then someone is going to harm somebody else. At that point, you are trying to help avoid that attack by saving that person, by saving you. Not that you take another thing and you kill that person at the same time. I think that's not a good option to do. Always it depends on the better, wise option you are going for at that time. Yeah, it's like the paramedics. When paramedics come to a heart attack, possible heart attack patient, they are doing the best thing that they can do during that time. It depends. They might give what do you call? They might give what do you call? CPR. Sometimes CPR doesn't work, they might go to other options. Right? So it depends. So I think what you need to understand is never try to kill, because when there are other options you can do. Think about police can come, they can do a job, and probably I'm going to minimize the attack. So I can save myself and they can save the other person too. But sometimes in your saving that person, there may be a death. It might happen. All it depends. But better not to go to the killing part. Right? That's how I can see that angle.
Thank you so much, Bhante.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Bhante, for the wonderful sharing. I just have a question on the 5 aggregates. So you mentioned that a lot of problems come from the clinging of to the 5 aggregates. So you talked about the clinging to the senses, like the touch, smell, taste. So how we can handle it is to reduce our greed and attachment to that. But
that one I have to make clear. Attachment and greed are two things. But to go into
yeah, I just want to know more about the 5th aggregate, about what do you mean by clinging to consciousness?
Sorry, very interesting. I have to make clear this thing. There are people who are translating attachment in a very poor way in terms of Buddhism. You know what? When we enjoy sensual pleasures, attachment is inherent. It's embedded in the experience. Without attachment, you won't enjoy anything. If you look at the Buddhist text, Pali text, Buddha is very clear. Attachment is not the problem. When you bring the greed to the attachment, that is the problem. Say for instance, let me write something for this actually. You will understand. I think all of you may know Metta Sutta, right? Metta Sutta. In this Metta Sutta, there is a sentence at the end. We call it Kamesu Vinaya Gela. Kamesu Vinaya Gela. What does it mean? Having overcome the greed, subsequently craving, it's a process, subsequently clinging. Greed, craving, clinging. Clinging is the burst. Having overcome the greed in terms of the calms, that means you can enjoy your sensual pleasures, but don't bring greed. Now you are asking, how to do it with regard to the thoughts? Right? That's your question. How do we become greedy with our thoughts? Yeah, consciousness. But let's take a very simple layman example. Probably you have your own attitude. Your own attitude. Okay? Now you are with a group of friends. They are suggesting you to go to a restaurant which you don't like. Because you have been to better restaurants about that food. Where is that experience coming? With your thought. You have a sanya, past memory, now it has become another thought. And now you have your attitude about that place. Now what is going to work here? Those friends don't ask your opinion. They say, we want to go there. We want to have that particular food. So, how to stop that? How to stop that greed, craving, clinging about that? Now you don't like it, but you will have to kind of compromise today at that point. That compromising, that sacrifice, just for the sake of that group on that day, will be a place that you make sure that you don't have greed about food. Another example. is that let's say you like to have certain thoughts about something. Lot of thoughts are coming about your mother, father, mother, loved ones. But there are times that you cannot sort of manage these, overpower these thoughts. But you have to be in this mode, otherwise you can't do other things. Then you are trying to manage your thoughts. So today I'm going to manage my thoughts. So you are going to go out of this grief, feeling, clinging perspective. Okay with your normal sensual pleasures. Yeah, that's how we are okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
I got two questions. This five etiquette is a process that how we react in the world. Then I wish to ask, then in we understand how we react in the world, then how should we change after we, for example, the form we sometimes it's harder to change. What we shouldn't see already, what we shouldn't listen already. So which is the process that we should change? Is from the memory or from the karma or from the
Five aggregates is not a process. The process is just a sensory experience. I think I showed you later on there. Can you just go to my PDF, this one? At the end, you will see the process under the aggregate. Yeah, this is the process. Yeah, this is the sensory experience, it's the process where we can change things at that point. But this one, yeah, this is Panchakanda. This is not the process, these are built in. When we are reborn as a human being, animal or whoever, these are built in. These are built in, we are born with this one. That's why we are composites of this one. Constructs of this one. We cannot change. But we can lower things depending on our sensory experience. Like for instance, our feeling we can manage, our memories we can manage, karma we can change, and consciousness we can manage. But it's not a process, they are constructs. Process is a sensory experience. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, all that. Yeah, they can be changed. Your next second question is about?
Yeah, this one linked to my second question. Because my second question is why the karma come before the consciousness? Because as Bhante said, the karma is a combination of the action and the intention. So if the conscious is a good one, if the karma affect the conscious or the conscious affect the karma?
It's not a gradual list. This is not a gradual list. Actually here karma has been taken as a source. As a source. Not that your karma that you are making all the time. All the past karmas are also here. Now say for instance, I give you one small example to see the difference. A teacher is going to give you an essay to write. The essay topic might be disruptive students should be taught together, agree or disagree. And so you have to cover. There are disruptive students and there are students who are not disruptive. Is it okay to teach them together or not? And you bring your own argument at the end. 10 students are writing the essay. 9 out of 10 writing the best. They are getting full marks, maybe A+. But as an outsider, if somebody is to see the essay, you see a very different approach to the question. Why is it? It is because our thinking comes from the past karma thoughts. In Abhidhamma it says there are 17 thought moments. So whenever I have a thought, you have a thought, that object has to come through 17 moments. First 3 are about our past life. So we take the karma, this level of karma from that thing. It's not that you think now, is it karma or thinking first. That idea has to go to the last sensory experience. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante.
So we have another 5 minutes, almost 5 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, other questions?
But just now you mentioned that one of the external happiness is actually the happiness of owning. So how do we know that the one that we own or what that we have owned it's enough or without greed? Because as we go by, as we have a more financial capability, what we want will increase and we will upgrade. So how do we define enough is enough at a certain stage?
Okay, it depends on different people. Buddha never said you can't be a billionaire. Right? In Buddhism, there's no amount of money you can make if you are skilled enough to go to that level. There are people who don't want to become as such. So that means it depends on your ability, your skills, your passion to become so. Earn money, as many as $1 billion if you want, if you can, but never bring greed to that money. That is Buddhism. There may be someone who cannot earn that much, end up with very earlier than that. Even you are poor, even you can afford, even you can make half of that, you can make that full amount. Never bring greed. Then that is how we look at it. Not that there is a limit for that. Right? So that's how we look at earning and not having greed for it. There's no particular limit for people to earn money. We cannot create boundaries for money, earning money. In Buddhism, we don't see that.
Does it mean that it's earned within your capacity?
Earn as you can with your skills, within your ethical parameters, but never bring greed, craving, clinging onto it. Because you are earning that high because you have a capacity to earn as such in good things. Right? Never bring greed to that. Yeah. Because there is another misconception among some others. In Buddhism, if you follow Buddhism, you can't be a rich person. Right? That's a misconception. Maybe someone who cannot be a rich person. Yes.
Sorry. I want to understand further about the greed, clinging, and craving to the five senses. Is it related to the middle way in Buddhism?
Yeah, definitely. Our Dhamma path is Noble Eightfold Path. I think you all know one. You should know it. Yeah, write it here. On a different page. So Noble Eightfold Path, which has 8 factors. This is where we find the perfect balance. Right? What are they? Right will, right intention, right speech, right action, right living, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. If this is the middle path, like this, then there should be wrong path. This path. Right? If you practice these 8, suppose you are going in the middle way, then there should be right side, left side. So this side is what we call self-mortification. This side, overindulgence. They are extremes. What does this mean? There are people who give a lot of pain to the body. Even when they practice Dhamma, they give lots of pain. Then finally you hate the body, you hate your mind, you hate your life. It won't happen if you follow this way. And there are people who go to the pole opposite of this, giving lots of unnecessary sensual pleasures. Unnecessarily giving pleasures. That's the other wrong way. So we are going in the middle. So that means when you ask the question, when you follow this aim, it's easier for you not to fall into greed, craving, clinging in your sensory experiences. This is what we have to do. Now we're only talking about we have 5 attributes, what is happening in sensory experience. But what we have to do, it was not discussed. This is what we have to do, this age. So we are in the middle. We are not veering onto the self-modification or overindulgence.
Thank you, Bhante. The second question is just now you mentioned about discussing the Dhamma in a timely manner in the so can you give me, provide an example of the time when we cannot discuss the Dhamma?
No, we cannot. I don't respect anybody's freedom to talk about Dhamma. Now what I'm saying is that there are moments where we disrespect the experience of the Dhamma. Right? So that means I think we have to get ready for that. Say for instance, if you want to meditate, don't you think you have to prepare for that? Or just be, you don't even take a wash, you just go sit down and meditate, breath meditation. I think it's better to prepare for that. And more importantly about Dhamma talks, YouTube Dhamma talks, maybe Dhamma talks, I think it's better to have a sort of preparation for that and then to listen. Not that I don't have time and then I'm doing other things, I'm multitasking. Dhamma talk is one of the things in multitasking. So in that case, I suggest don't listen to that many Dhamma talks. Don't listen to that many Dhamma talks. Choose one or two. Maybe once in a couple of days, get ready for that and listen to it properly. So it will help you to go to the heart. Otherwise, you keep listening, it will get stuck here. It will be stagnant. It won't go to your heart. When you are not ready, it won't go to the real experience. That's why I say there are moments. You are asking me to specify the moments. Maybe there are people who are listening to Dhamma while they are not ready enough with other activities. I better not to specify the moments. I rather say get ready for that, for a specific time. I think we can take only one more question.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
I believe that's the last question, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Then we can.
Shall we say salutations, Bhante?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante, for your compassionate sharing. Really guide us in that. How do we understand ourselves in various aspects? Now we know that we have 5 aggregates in this body and mind. We also know that there are 6 senses that we need to control and guard them, and also there is self and non-self. Dear friends, there may be a lot of Buddhist terms that may be unfamiliar and new for a lot of you. Don't worry, we'll take time to slowly digest, learn and reflect. And for those who still have questions for Bhante, we still have sessions later on, so keep your questions for the later session. Now we go into our families for discussion.